Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We've all had a chance to read over the agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the agenda? State your name, please.
Dan Fields, District 4.
Second.
Rodney Lemons, District 2, second.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, we'll go ahead and turn it over to Henry County Communications Director, Melissa Robinson.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Melissa Robinson, Communications Director for Henry County Government, and we're so glad that you decided to take your time to come to the SPLOST meeting to hear about SPLOST, learn more about it, and then weigh in with your opinion. I just want to tell you a little bit about the committee. So you'll hear from them shortly. This is the SPLOST 6 committee, and Chairman is Travis Wines. And the SPLOST 6 committee is comprised of 7 members. They're not all here right now. Each appointed by a district commissioner, our chair, and our county manager. And they are all volunteering their time to come to these meetings, and the idea to elicit information and feedback from their constituents, from community members, from their neighbors, from their friends. The committee members, they volunteered, and then once the meetings are over, this is the third of 7, they will compile a list of projects based on community feedback and give that to the commissioners, and then the commissioners will take that into consideration when putting a project list together for a referendum. SPLOST will continue only if the voters vote for it to continue. So on the referendum, it has to have specific projects, and the voters have to approve. So I just want to give you a little bit of that. You probably already know that. I'm going to turn it back to the chair, and thank you again for being here.
So the special purpose local option sales tax is a 1% sales tax collected by the county to fund developments and improvements of county and city facilities, green space, parks, and recreation facilities, road improvements, and police and fire stations. Voters approved the current SPLOST 5 in 2019, and county leaders are seeking to ask voters for a continuation of the SPLOST initiative as a SPLOST 6, which will be placed through referendum on the November 2024 ballot. The SPLOST 6 committee was formed to prepare for the future referendum. The primary task of the committee is to reach out into the community to elicit ideas and feedback from residents on what projects should be included on the proposed SPLOST 6 list. The committee submits that project list to the Henry County Board of Commissioners for approval, at which time a referendum is created and put before voters on the November 2024 ballot. A fixed project list must be in place and included as part of the referendum itself before it can be placed on the ballot. The SPLOST 6 committee is comprised of 7 volunteer members who are appointed individually by the county commission chair, each commissioner, and the county manager. The members of the SPLOST 6 committee are as follows: Travis Wines, I'm the county chair appointee; Oliver Hawkins, District 1, Rodney Lemons, District 2, Craig Burns, District 3, Ann Fields, District 4, Denise Sylvia, District 5, and Lourdes Kearney, County Manager appointee. Meeting locations are varied so that residents in all areas of the county have easier access. SPLOST 6 committee meetings are open to the public and all are welcome. So we would like to thank the members of the Henry County Board of Commissioners and any elected officials who are in attendance tonight. Would you please stand and be recognized?
Kevin Lewis, District 5 Commissioner. The District 2 Commissioner, Neve Robinson, she's up in Washington, D.C. today, so I'll be sitting in, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm very familiar with the area. I know a lot of my friends are here, so just appreciate you all coming out and supporting me.
Thank you. I would like each committee member to introduce themselves, starting with District 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oliver Hawkins, District 1.
Rodney Lemons, District 2.
Ann Fields, I'm District 4.
Lourdes Kearney, County Manager appointee.
And Travis Wines, the county chair appointee. So tonight, we will be hearing from the Public Works Cluster Lead, Rocky Romero, Leisure and Public Services Cluster Lead, Jonathan King, and several other county staff members. And I will now turn it over to Rocky Romero.
Thank you, and thank you, community members, for being here, and also for all the citizens that are here tonight. Just really quick, a quick recap on SPLOST 5 projects that we have completed. We have West Village Park, we have Fire Station 6, Police Precinct, and the United Village Park. Now, next is going to be Nakia Jackson. She's going to go through this icebreaker.
Good evening, everybody. So we have this Slido survey, just to get your opinion on certain things with SPLOST. Do everybody have the QR code? It should be in your package. You can use your telephone and scan that QR code. And it's also here on the screen. Okay, so we have the first question is rank the level of importance of these project categories. So we have public safety, transportation, parks and recreation, general government, and airport. Okay, so you see it's moving a little bit with public safety. We have the next question. What will be your priority for transportation? Okay, so we have road maintenance leading currently. Okay, so we have road maintenance at 55%, intersection improvement at 18, new roads at 14, sidewalks at 14, and let's move a little bit more.
Well, actually, mine's not letting me go any further than the first page.
We have our next question. What would be your priority for parks and recreation? Okay, we have multi-purpose areas as top lead currently. The next question is, what will be your priority for general government? We have technology leading currently. Okay. The next question is, how would you spend $380 million? We have public safety, we have parks and recs, we have transportation, general government. Okay, we have Parks and Rec and Public Safety, Transportation, and Park and Recs sitting hand in hand. Thank you for participating in the survey. I'm going to turn it over to Rocky.
I think this is a good way for everybody to see where our needs are going to be needed, for the next SPLOST program. Next, as it was mentioned, where will you spend $380 million? As you can see on the screen, this is where we've been from SPLOST 1 all the way through SPLOST 5. Right now, we're just about collecting just about what we proposed on SPLOST 5, which was close to $204 million. And we still have another year to go. So for SPLOST 6, we're looking, if we have a 5-year program, $380 million. Now, if we could also have a 6-year program, but we would have to have an intergovernmental agreement with the cities. That would generate $470 million for 6 years. Real quick, a recap from last meeting. District 1, recommended projects that we were taught at the last meeting. For major transportation projects, we have State Route 81, Phase 2, Hampton Locust Grove Road widening from State Route 20 to State Route 155. Intersections and signalization, you have Pittsfield at Quinn Mill, Pittsfield Road at Old Jackson Road. Dirt roads, we have Ellistown Road, Sandy Ridge Road, Happy Hollow. Bridge improvements, we have Hampton Locust Grove Road over Talladega River. And we have resurfacing Rocky Creek and Kingsbury Road. Now we're gonna have our leisure and public service, Jonathan Penn.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Good. That's a good response. Okay, we got a little lively crowd. So, as you mentioned, my name is Jonathan Penn. Everyone calls me JP, so feel free to call me JP. I am the Cluster Lead for Leisure and Public Services and Director of Parks and Recreation. First, we're going to go through some of the recent projects that we completed within the SPLOST program. As you all are aware, the Aquatic Center and Water Park, which is in progress, that is being constructed over near the admin building where the old Cotton Fields Golf Course is located. North Mount Carmel Recreation Center, which is also in process. That's at North Mount Carmel Park off Jonesboro Road. Beautiful facility. The pictures there, the top picture is the rendering for the Aquatic Center and Water Park. The bottom left is the new recreation facility. And then the bottom right is the corporate pavilion at Nash Park. Beautiful, beautiful pavilion that we have out there. Some other recent projects that we completed was the Heritage Senior Center Fitness Edition. Very nice fitness addition to that senior center there. Village United Park, which is right up the road. Beautiful park. Mickey D. Cochran Park. We completely renovated that park. If you haven't had a chance to go over there, that's in Stockbridge. Beautiful, beautiful park there as well. The disc golf edition at J.P. Mosley Park. We added disc golf holes to that current course, making it a 32-hole course. I say hole, 32 basket course. And it's now one of the top courses in the region here in Georgia. So very, very proud of that. I mentioned the corporate pavilion and then the new playground in Nash Park as well. All right, so let's talk about some of the recommended projects for SPLOST 6. Currently, we are in the middle, in Parks and Rec, in the middle of a comprehensive parks master plan. We're about 70% through with the master plan. We've done public meetings just like this to get input and feedback from the residents. We have a steering committee, and the organization that's doing the plan have done surveys as well. We sent out a survey, statistically valid survey that was mailed to residents, as well as an online survey too. The statistically valid survey was randomly mailed to residents. So if you didn't get one, it's okay, because you were able to go online to fill out the survey as well. So we'll gather all that information and market research and other information that we're gathering. We'll put together a comprehensive plan to identify the needs and the recommendations for the entire county over the next 5 to 10 years. What we want to do is, and typically projects like that within a plan like that is funded by SPLOST. That's a huge funding source for those types of projects. So some of the projects that I know from the preliminary findings that will be in there, new concession restroom facilities. As you all are aware, some of our parks are very dated, and we're going to start updating those parks. New athletic field improvements, new lighting, new outdoor pickleball courts. Pickleball has been one of the top sports in the nation, the fastest growing sport in the nation. I don't know, who even play pickleball? Nobody. Are you kidding me? Okay, all right, we got one over there. All right. As many people have been knocking down my door for us to get more pickleball courts in this county, I knew it would at least be one person who could play pickleball. But yeah, it's one of the fastest growing sports. Tennis pros are starting to play it, and they have a pro circuit now. It will be in the Olympics soon, so it's going to continue to expand, and we at Henry County want to be in front of that. Right now, we're behind the curve, so us using some SPLOST dollars to build some of these pickleball courts and to meet the demand and the need will be crucial for us moving forward. New playgrounds, definitely new playgrounds in our parks, and then a new recreation center in District 3. We have 2 recreation centers in the Stockbridge area, Fairview and J.P. Mosley. and we have one in Locust Grove. We have a senior center slash community center in Bear Creek. So it's not a true recreation center, but it has a few meeting rooms, and we do host summer camp over there along on the other side of where the senior center is. So this will be a great area for us to put a recreation center that's kind of centrally located within the county. So you'll have one on one end of the county, two on one end of the county, one on the other end, and something in the middle. A golf course in Nash Farm Park. As you know, we're building the aquatic center and water park at the old Cotton Fields golf course. So we're looking to possibly do a 9-hole executive course at Nash Farm Park. Has anyone been out to Nash? Know where Nash Farm is off of Jonesboro Road? Yes? Okay. Beautiful park. If y'all go out there, very scenic. We have a lake back there. You can go fishing. It's stocked regularly through DNR with catfish, crappie, bass. So definitely go out there if you like to fish. And an indoor pickleball facility. I talked about pickleball. We can host major tournaments with a pickleball facility like that, bringing people from all over the country to Henry County to spend money to fund our next SPLOST. That's how our SPLOST is funded. When we have tournaments, we have big events, when people come through Tanger, like all of, they're funding these projects with that sales tax. So we want to continue to build things to bring people into Henry County, not only to recreate or to enjoy the shopping, but to stay too. We want to bring people to Henry County as well. So, and then we're also looking to replace the Hidden Valley Senior Center in this area. So that's one of the projects that we're looking to do. We haven't identified a specific piece of land. We have some ideas, but we need to do some surveying and things like that to see if it's going to work. But that would be a project that we will identify in the SPLOST, is to replace the Hidden Valley Senior Center. And then, and I do have my phenomenal Senior Services Director here, Sean Norris. But we have this idea for a senior megaplex here in Henry County. This will be a one-of-a-kind facility, and the thing is, we want to move from just your regular bingo, stagnant type offerings that we have for seniors to our active seniors. We have a lot of active seniors that live in Henry County. We want to provide the amenities for those active seniors here in Henry County. And so this megaplex will definitely do that. And I'll let Sean speak to some of the things that we're looking to do at this megaplex. It's phenomenal, y'all.
Good evening, everybody. Like JP said, I'm Sean Norris, Director of Senior Services. I started with Senior Services as a director about 3 years ago, and one of the first things I mentioned to JP and county leadership was that Hidden Valley needs some work. So I'm glad to see that we're able to put that on the SPLOST 6 agenda to get a new center, because we had completely outgrown that center. Now, my baby. The senior megaplex. This megaplex, with this center, what we want to do is we want to get out of the traditional senior center model of the, like you said, the bingo and all the programs we do for the less active individuals, and look to create a more thriving environment for our senior population. We have everything that we're going to put in the center, from an aquatics area, a full fitness center with a walking track, and a bowling alley, a theater, some green space for gardening, a demo kitchen, computer labs for continued education. Anything that you see that seniors would want, we are trying to put it in one location to make sure that, you know, seniors, all the seniors' needs get met. We have a lot of individuals that jump across county lines to utilize the amenities in other counties, and I don't like that. I'm too competitive, and I think that we here in Henry County need to offer those same amenities right here in Henry. So there's a bunch of other stuff on there. I can't think of it right now, but it's going to be lovely. So hopefully that you guys push to get a new mega senior center within Henry County.
Yes, ma'am.
Next question, Mayor. So where's your megaplex going, or anticipated location, and what are you gonna do with the old building?
So ideally, something like that, we would want it centrally located within the county. We would still have, you know, like Hidden Valley, we'll replace that. So that's gonna be a nice senior center on this side of the county. And then the Locust Grove, we would still keep that. So that would be on that side of the county. We would still have these ancillary senior centers with offerings and programs. But we'll also have the megaplex that's kind of centrally located that we could pull in from everywhere.
What do you call centrally located in the city, in Henry County? What area?
So we would use GIS and determine what that is based on the GIS findings. We haven't identified that location yet, but we would definitely use GIS to do that.
When you saying you're gonna extend it, that megaplex, or you're gonna give a new location?
Say that again?
The megaplex that you were just speaking of, are you gonna extend the one down in Hidden Valley, or? you
No,
gonna-
Hidden Valley is gonna be we're gonna completely new. We're gonna tear down and build a new one.
Okay,
Yeah.
replace it.
This is in addition to the Hidden Valley, right, exactly.
What's the ETA for this megaplex?
So the megaplex will come after the Hidden Valley. So,
What's the ETA?
I mean, we have to get through this SPLOST first. It has to get voted on. Right. Yeah. And then we'll go through the process, but, I mean, you're looking at minimum 3 years out, at minimum.
So is that the same for replacing Hidden Valley Senior Center? Is that part of the old
No,
SPLOST?
no, that would be SPLOST 6,
SPLOST?
yes. All these projects right here are recommended for SPLOST 6 that you all will be voting for. And once they're on the ballot and you vote for them, we gotta do it.
Well, that hasn't been the case all the time. When we vote for some things that supposedly was on the ballot, and then later on, they said we ran out of money.
Now that can happen, but I will let Rocky talk to about the funds and how in the past, I know recently we haven't had an issue, but in the past, there was situations where we didn't collect as much as we thought we were gonna collect, and so some of the projects couldn't be completed. But recently, that hasn't been the case. We're collecting more than we're projecting.
So yes, so as you saw earlier that we had a little graph with all the different SPLOSTs. So originally, and I don't know if you can go back to that real quick. Originally, we've been collecting, there are some years that we actually, there you go. So if you look at SPLOST 3, we expected to collect $300 million. But in 2007, 2008, something happened, right? The economy went stagnant. We had a recession. So we didn't collect as much as we thought we were going to do. Therefore, there were projects that could not be completed. And what we've done is put them on the next program. Sorry. And then in SPLOST 4, we actually collect a little bit more. So every SPLOST so far, we've been collecting more. We've been able to complete the projects that we set to do. Now, one of the things we're encountering now is in SPLOST 5, we are collecting more, but guess what? Everything costs more. So it's good that we're collecting more, a lot more. As you see in the graph, we still got over a year plus, and we're almost matching what we expected to collect. But the projects are coming much higher. So it's really a balance, you know. So it's possible that this SPLOST 5, there might be some projects that we cannot finish. We will have to put in SPLOST 6, you know, because of construction being so high. That's why we are, you know, we do estimates, we budget all these projects, we put inflation But what happened now is the inflation is much higher than we thought it was gonna be. So we are gonna have to look at the projects real good, make sure that we don't add more projects that we can fund. So that's something that internally, you know, as we go through, we propose projects, we hear from the community, we hear from the citizens input, and we'll come up with budgets, and then we need to decide which projects we're gonna be putting in the ballot. But we gotta make sure that we put enough in the project to make sure we can take it all the way through construction.
Now, do you have cases where you have a surplus of money, and if so, what do you do with that?
It's very rare. We have, as you can see, the graph, we really don't have a surplus just because of what I just said. The construction cost is too much higher. It's much higher. So
What criteria do you use to decide what projects will be put on the back burner if you run out of money?
well, basically, it's what projects currently we have that are moving forward. If I have a project that is moving forward faster, those projects will go ahead. For example, transportation projects, if I have an intersection project that is already in design or in right of way, ready to bid it out, we'll bid that out. But if we have one that is starting design, that may not be able to, we won't be able to take it to construction. And that project then will have to be put in SPLOST 6. But let's finish the presentation, and we'll get all the questions. Okay. So we heard about leisure and services. Now we're going to talk a little bit about transportation. On our major transportation projects, we're recommending Fairview Road widening. You mentioned what do we do with projects that don't have enough funds. Fairview Road widening is a SPLOST 5 project. We're going to start buying right-of-way on that project. But do we have enough money to take it all the way to construction? It's going to take us about a year or so, a year and a half to buy all the right-of-way. There's about, I believe there's about 80 parcels on that project. So it's going to take us about a year or so to acquire a year and a half. Right now, you're looking at, when we started estimating, we were about 4.5 million. You're looking at probably close, a mile, you're probably looking at about 10 million a mile. You know, the cost of construction is risen a lot. We are proposing the East Atlanta Road widening project. On that one, going from Rex Road to Fairview. That's a good north-south connection. You know, eventually, we would like to take it all the way to Stockbridge so that you have that great connection north-south. That one probably going to be designed. One of the things on these major projects, it takes about 4 to 5 years to design by the time you design and buy right-of-way. So what we would like to do is design and buy some right-of-way. That way, the next program, we're ready for construction. That could be a great T+2 project where you have the design done, right-of-way just about done, and you can go ahead and put it out for bid on the T+. Jonesboro Road widening, believe it or not, District 2 goes all the way to Jonesboro Road. It touches a little bit. Actually, it's actually Commissioner Lewis also, District 5. So we're recommending to be a shared project with District 5. And this is another project that we would like to go and do the design only on the SPLOST 6 and then construction on the T+2. Intersection and signalization, we're looking at Flippin Road and McCullough. Again, that's another shared project with District 5. I'm glad that he's here. East Atlanta Road at Rex. That one, go ahead and build it, you know, design it for the future and go ahead and build it under SPLOST 6. Panola Road and Scarborough Road. Panola Road as Flakes Mill Road. I think we were talking about that earlier with the committee. Scarborough Road at Church and Scarborough at Fairview Road. Right now, we don't have any assigned bridges or improvements, but on sidewalks and trails, we're looking at extending the path that we were going to be building. We'll be building on the Fairview Road. Projects also do a path to go through Church Road to Hearn. That one is going to be more going, not along the road, but more around the streams.
If I could have a question, those projects, since the federal government approved the infrastructure money, can it be used in conjunction with the SPLOST, or is that a separate,
So on those, that's a great question. So in order to receive those funds, we have to apply. Okay, so we've got to compete with other communities. One of the things that we have, and Sam Baker's here, he's our transportation planner. Where's your hand, Sam? There we go. Now in March, the ARC, everybody knows what ARC stands for, Atlanta Regional Commission. So they open every couple of years, they have a call projects. And it opens in March and it ends in May. The county has to submit an application, okay? And we'll submit some projects. You know, that could be a great project to submit, is the line. Now, you have to match it. You have to have funds to match it. Usually it's an 80-20. Federal government gives 80, we have to provide 20. Good example on that. State Route 81, I know we've done that where we have matching Rock Quarry Road. Everybody drives the Rock Quarry Road, right? Now that road is a 2-lane road, right? What's over the railroad tracks? A bridge. It's a 4-lane bridge. If you notice, we built that bridge 10 years ago. People say, why did you build a 4-lane bridge on a 2-lane road? Well, we were thinking it for the future. Well, guess what? The future is here. So we submitted in 2015 to ARC for design. We were granted $1.2 million. In 2017, we submitted again for right-of-way. Guess what? We received $5.6 million. And then in 2019, we submitted for construction. Okay? And right now we're about, what, 20 million, 24 million, I believe it is, that we're going to be receiving towards that project. Now, that project, we were talking about funding cost 2 years ago, $24 million. Guess how much is our estimate construction is now? You said 50, that's close. How about, I hope it's not that, $38 million. $38 million for that winding of that road. So we are going to seek funding through ARC, which that's the mechanism to get the federal funds. So I know it's a long story to get to that point, but I think it's good for everybody to know the history of how some of these projects why it takes so long, and how funding for federal funds is also important. But sometimes we want to go for those big projects. That's what we do. We go for big projects, widening project. If you have an intersection project, we just need to do it through SPLOST. It will do that much faster than doing a 4-lane widening project. So, how to stay updated? We have a website. We provide all the information of our current projects and also what we're talking here. We're going to be uploading the presentation, so for the people that were not able to see it, they can see it as well. And I'll turn it back to Travis.
All right, we would like to now open the floor to Commissioner Lewis, if you have any comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need it. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Speak a lot about. First of all, thank you for having me. Commissioner Robinson, who's the district commissioner, she asked me to come up today. She is up in DC right now with our chairwoman, and what they're doing is they're trying to get more federal dollars for us. So they met with Congressman David Scott today, and he has promised to give us some more money towards our transportation project. So that's what they're doing up there. So I was planning to be here anyway, but I was more than happy to fill in for it. So I just want to kind of reiterate some things that you've heard from JP and also from Rocky. When we talk about these projects are really important. And it's important that they're on SPLOST. And you say, why are they so important they're on SPLOST? They're important because it keeps away from a direct tax on you and me. You say, well, how is that? It's still a tax. It's a tax, but it's a tax on, half the money from SPLOST comes from people who don't live in Henry County. It's people who just driving through, they may work in Henry County. You know, they stop along I-75, they stop at a convenience store, and they pay their money. So you know, they pay their money and then they keep on going. You know, we always like to say, well, Henry County's full, so, you know, pay your money and keep going. But the beautiful thing is that they're paying for our quality of life. That's why it's so important. I've heard some people, well, I don't want to vote for SPLOST. This building you're sitting in right now is paid for by SPLOST. That park you enjoy was paid for by SPLOST. The police, fire, SPLOST. Half the fire stations in this county are paid for by SPLOST. Half the police stations are paid for by SPLOST. That's why it's important, and it's really important because a lot of people who don't live here are actually paying for it. So it's extremely important, and I know I heard the question like, you know, how do you pick the projects? You know, you pick the projects, that's why you're here. Those surveys that you're doing are really important because that's letting the county know, and that's letting the SPLOST committee know, these are the ones that are most important to us. So those are the ones we're going to try to fund first. And I do want to talk about, you know, we're trying to figure out right now, how do we plan for SPLOST to be able to cover the funds? And what I mean by that is, we got really hit really hard during the pandemic about SPLOST funds not really matching up with the projects. And I'll give you a great example. So northbound Carmel Park, we're building a recreation center. It was on SPLOST, the original price tag that we planned for was $6.5 million. So we just approved the project and it's in construction right now. It's going to cost us $15.5 million. So the aquatic center, original price tag, what we planned for was SPLOST, $22 million. Well, we're about to pay $50 million. So sometimes you say, oh, well, what do you do with the extra money? There probably is no extra money because what we thought was extra has been sucked up in construction costs. It's no different than when you go to the grocery store. You used to buy, you know, a dozen eggs, they used to cost 89 cents, so $1.20, now they cost $3. You know, everything has gone up, and so the same thing with these projects. But the quality of life that we get from SPLOST, to me, far outweighs what we put into it. So this is a way for the county to not raise property taxes by having programs like this. Because otherwise, the only way we could get any of this stuff done is by raising property taxes, and nobody wants to raise property taxes. I can't afford to raise, you know, I can't afford to pay more. I don't think anybody in here wants to pay more property taxes. So this is why this is very important. So to me, I'm just giving my personal opinion. Anybody who wouldn't vote for SPLOST, I have no idea why you wouldn't do it. Because it is really, you're improving your quality of, our quality of life with money that half the folks who pay for it don't even live here. This is why we're trying to push more races at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, because those folks come in, they spend a lot of money. And all of that money, a lot of that money comes from hotel taxes, and it goes directly into SPLOST. And so the SPLOST program, not only does the county get it, but it's also a portion to the cities. I know some people in here, you may live in the city of Stockbridge. You know, some people do, some people don't. But the cities, they get a portion of the SPLOST money too. And that's how they're able to fund transportation projects within the cities, or, you know, some of the other park improvements that the cities have. They're able to fund that through SPLOST. This is an important program. That's why I'm so glad that all of you are here, because we need community engagement. We need folks that tell us what is really important to them. And one thing I committed to, and I think the other commissioners have committed to, is if you say you want it, we're going to commit to building it. You know, somebody got mad because we said we're going to build the aquatic center. They're like, you all must be crazy for spending that amount of money. Folks said they want an aquatic center, we're going to build an aquatic center. We're going to do what you asked, because too many times and rightfully so, we'll say the politicians, well, we told you we wanted this, but you took the money and did something else with it. Then you have a right to fire everybody. If you say you want it, then we need to commit to doing it. And so that's what we're trying to do. So I just like I said, once again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. This is vitally important. Please make sure you say what you want, because this SPLOST committee, they're going to take that information, and after we go through every single district, we'll have a final meeting, and then we're going to figure out what's going to be on SPLOST 6 for you all to go ahead and approve in November. Does that make sense? Yep. I do want to acknowledge a couple of people out here while I have the floor. Mr. John Bailey, could you stand up for a minute? John Bailey, he is a resident right around here in Elwood, and he runs, he lives out here at Village Park. So if you're ever in Village Park, you're gonna see him pretty much every day. He runs and he takes care of a lot of issues. So a lot of things that, so a lot of things that have happened here that may need fixing. He's our first line of defense. He'll say, hey, you know what, we need this. So sometimes you won't even notice that something was wrong because he'll get it fixed. Another person I want to recognize, Mr. Jonathan Buck, sitting right next to him. He is our Parks and Rec representative for the District 2, so I just want to recognize him. So raise your hand. Okay. But, that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. We will now open it up for public comments.
I have a question. So, a lot of the SPLOST projects you talk about the implementation, the construction, right? But with any project, there's always a tail. There's always the ongoing maintenance after you've implemented it. How is that budgeted? Is that thrown back into the general budget, or are you looking for SPLOST to continue to fund that? Can you explain that?
It goes to the general fund. So the SPLOST, we cannot do maintenance. We cannot pay salaries. So if you build, like, let's say, for example, a new park, the people that's going to be working in the park, it's got to be in the general fund. They got general fund paid for it. Same thing with roads. We build a 2-lane to a 4-lane. The DOT will be the one maintaining, and it goes through general fund as well.
So one last follow-on, if I could. So how are you, and this may be too big of a question for this meeting, but how do you manage the growth of the general budget then by adding all these SPLOST projects? Because you actually are growing the general budget every time you add a new project, right? So there's one angle to spend the money you get in, I get it, but then you're also growing the general budget every time you do that. So going back to your property tax question, it's a circular kind of conversation.
I'm glad you asked it, because I need to talk about that. You reminded me of what I want to talk about. So that's the perfect thing. So when you build something like the aquatic center, the aquatic center ends up paying for its own maintenance. Because you have people coming in, they come in and they spend their money there, and it ends up paying for itself. So it's like we build it, but then it ends up paying for itself. So even though there are people that work there, more money comes into the general fund, it actually pays their salary. So you have to have, and that's why Jonathan Penn started talking about, we want people to visit, because those people actually are paying the salary. So where it doesn't fall on us as the taxpayer. We have popular destinations, the disc golf at JP Mosley is very popular. People come in, they stay in hotels, they come, they spend money. So in essence, they really actually pay for the maintenance and upkeep without it being a burden on us, if that makes sense.
Real quick, we got a list actually of people who pre-signed up for questions. We'll go through this list and then we'll come back to answer any questions you may have. We'll start with JF Buck. All right, Amy Horton.
Yeah, right here. I think
Okay.
the question was answered already. The young lady asked a question about the maintenance of the park. That's not, SPLOST money is not used for maintenance of the park, is that correct? That's part of the general fund. Do we have enough money in the general funds to keep the maintenance of the park up and also for safety?
Okay.
Yes.
We do.
We do. Yeah, that's a question.
We do. So our approved annual budget this past fiscal year is $232 million. And so we actually were tracking ahead a little on our taxes. So if you watch our last meeting, we had a robust discussion about some extra money in property taxes that we were getting in. So our budget, the amended budget was going about $235 million, but it was totally funded. It's not making us go up on any taxes. So we're able to fund public safety and all the services that you see and all the services that you don't see. So we're able to fund that. Did that answer your question?
All right, we got Mario Stokes.
How you doing? I had a question. I'm not sure if it's appropriate form, but I just had suggestions for projects around this area. I'm not sure if it's the appropriate time.
Yeah, but that's why we're here.
Okay, so So I live here on West Village Parkway, and I was here when all this was 2-lane road, right, all around here. And so what I've seen is that with the increased traffic, it hasn't been that much new construction of homes and stuff around here yet to add people. But what it has done is turn basically West Village Parkway into an extended part of the highway. So people turn here and hit 50 miles an hour when they turn right here. I mean, even like I like the place, but they have cars come out, and when their cars come out, and even if they turn this into a drag strip, right? Like, so they drag race on this, right? Like, Henry County kind of shut it down, like, but they work. It looks like a highway. If you turn around Westwood Parkway, it looks like you on 78, or it looks like you're on the highway. And people treat it like that. So, and now it's even more truck traffic, semi-tractor, trailer truck, because it's a smooth way to come cut around some of the traffic. It's a good path. So I think some of the traffic that we generate is only because we have a nice road here. And what is encouraging people to come this route is going to incur more road maintenance in the future, right? Like you're talking about, like we built the project, it's going to require. So my suggestion for this area was that become, how do we think about maybe like a bike lane, you know what I'm saying, to slow the traffic down in this area, discourage us from becoming a new 75. You know, if you want to take the highway, go to 75, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just maybe in this area, and connecting, so we have this park here, where people walk in circles, and we got that park down the street, where a lot of people participate in walking circles. So maybe a walking path to connect the two parks. This area up here is like zoned for mixed use, so it's like trying to turn this area, if you look at the comp plan, trying to turn this area into a walkable community. So it was just an idea as far as what would it take to, and it's something that seems like it's a project that wouldn't take much money to just paint a lane green and say this is a bike lane. I mean, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? So, you know.
So on West Village and also on Fairview, right here in Apple Block, we do have multi-use paths. So we have sidewalks that are 8 foot wide, and that's for your bicycle, pedestrian. And actually, you can walk from here all the way to United Village Park. You can walk. Now, in the future, when we finish the other phase of Fairview, you can walk all the way to Hidden Valley Park. And when we do the third phase of Fairview, you can go all the way to Panola Mountain. So when the two Fairview projects are completed, you can walk from here all the way to Panola Mountain, back and forth.
Okay. People walk in areas that are safe and comfortable and interesting and useful. So like, even if we make sidewalks to wherever, people not gonna walk where tractor trailers is flying past you at 50 miles an hour, or cars is flying. People just not gonna walk there, no matter how big you make the sidewalk. If it's just walking past, parking lots and 50 mile an hour trucks, it's still not gonna encourage a walkable community. It's more to it than just wide sidewalks, is what I'm saying. So, I just been, looking into it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's more to it than just wide sidewalks. So you can use policy to encourage more walkable situations as opposed to using it to encourage a bigger bill on having to repair this road when tractor trailer trucks use it as a shortcut for everybody.
That's fair. That's fair. Did you mention the trail?
No, I didn't. Sam, Sam, my transportation director, he has it's complete. High-level trails plan, comprehensive trails plan for Union County. And within trails, it does talk about the 8-10 foot, paths, sidewalks, multi-use paths that will connect different areas, and that's some of what Rocky was talking about. But with the bike lane, so that it takes a little bit more, especially on some of these larger roads. It takes a lot more engineering because of the safety aspect and things like that. So that's something that I think Sam can maybe speak to from the plan perspective. perspective of some of the bike lanes and things like that that, you know, potentially we could come?
As JP said, we completed a Henry County Trails Plan in 2022. This Trails Plan is a long-term vision of developing a network of trails in Henry County where people can walk, ride bicycle, rollerblade, and so provides an alternate mode of transportation to get around from one end of county to another. One of the trails recommended in the trails plan is the Fairview Road Side Path. It recommends a total of 87 trails, and Fairview Road Side Path is one of the highly recommended out of the 3 trails recommended. So it will connect the current Panola Mountain Park Greenway, extend farther west along Fairview Road, and provide a pedestrian facility for people to walk and ride on a bicycle. So that is one of the recommended projects in the Trails Plan and is on the proposed project list. About the question about improving safety by adding bike lane is a great idea. What some other communities have done is that they have narrowed the traffic lane.
Yeah,
That slows down cars.
And it's cheap, that's all I'm saying, I've looked into the community, and how it's just, or even like you say, safety, people just putting medians, pots, or, you know, planted pots in the road. And it, because people don't drive the speed limit, they drive as fast as they feel safe driving. You see what I'm saying? So when you turn on these roads right here, and it looks like the highway, you're gonna drive highway speeds. If you turn down certain roads and it was smaller and had stuff in the way, like plants in the way, you would drive slower. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cheap to do that. That's what I'm saying. It's low cost, high return. It's low cost, high return type of stuff.
I'm with you. So one of the ideas we can entertain is that we'll reduce the travel lane from 12 feet to 11 feet, and that can provide some space for bike lane or for sidewalks without having to widen the road.
I have a question. If we ride bikes on sidewalks from here down to,
Yes, you can.
Ingles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
So we don't have to get in the road to ride a bike?
That's
We don't
correct.
have to ride
That's
on the
correct.
sidewalks?
That's correct. You can ride.
Up every day.
Okay, we got Chandra Lemons.
My questions have been addressed. I was concerned about the Panola Road, Flexfield intersection and the Scarborough Road, Panola Road intersection. So you've already kind of addressed them.
Okay. Charles Downey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you say, I'm Charles Downey. I don't have any questions per se, but I do want to support the golf course at Nash Farms. The reason why I support it because I support our high school students. When they closed Cotton Fields Golf Course, our high schools, well, I shouldn't say all of them, but many of our high school students use Cotton Fields to practice on, not only practice on, but also they play golf tournaments there. And Mr. Commissioner Lewis, I'm glad you made the point about these projects pay for themselves. Well, this past summer I met with Mr. Penn there, with Commissioner England, and confirmed that I think was it fiscal year 2023, that Cotton Fields made like $110,000 in profit. Do I remember that correctly, Mr. Penn?
I can't recall the exact number, but
It was over $100,000 that Cotton Fields made from golfers. So I encourage everybody to support this golf course at Nash Farm. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Irish Fishback.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if it's appropriate for this forum, but kind of piggybacking off of, about the area, we're building all these buildings, New Kid Valley facility, we have the beautiful parks, we have the Performing Arts Center, all these new things that we're building that are eye-catching. And then, what are we doing about the stuff that's currently there I wish Neat was kind of here, because then we look at, let's look at the plaza where Sudo's is, the plaza where Hawk Construction is, that behind Dairy Queen. All of that is an eyesore. What are we doing about the stuff that's currently here? And the other issue I have is, I went up to get my dry cleaning and saw we have another vape store. Like, where did that come from? And we keep getting these businesses and things that we don't, that it's like you almost don't know who your constituents are. We don't frequent these places, and it's bringing people from other counties who are frequenting these places, and it's like we're not being heard. What are we going to do to beautify the area and have some of these business owners who own these plazas, bring them up to date with some of the other newer things that we're bringing to the area? Because it's nice to have those nice things, but then you look over here, you're looking at this tore down building, you know, it doesn't look so nice. Then I drive up 155 because we're on the cusp of 155 and Fairview. We drive down 155 and over there in Eastlake, they don't get the same kind of businesses that we get. They get the new Publix, they get the new Kroger, they are getting Starbucks, they have Dunkin' Donuts. We have nothing. And so what are we gonna do about our corridor? And we are the ones that mainly pass the East blocks and the T blocks. So what about us?
Great question. And I'm not going to speak directly for Commissioner Robinson, but we have had this conversation. So one of the things that she wanted to focus on, it is part of redevelopment. So this actually goes into a larger question about, I don't know how closely you all follow the comp plan. So when we talk about the comp plan, that's when we're actually looking at each area of the county and what is going to go there. It's hard when you say Eastlake. So Eastlake, they've increased their density over there recently, which is why they're getting a lot of, you know, the newer plazas and the grocery stores and things like that. Overwhelmingly, what has been before is the residents on the north side, north end of Henry, and Ellenwood, have said they don't want the density. So, 'cause I know we have the apartments, Fairview Terraces coming over, Panola, and there was an actual, another proposed apartment townhome, I think right off East Atlanta, and everybody overwhelmingly came out and said, we don't want that. So here's the balance. When you say you don't want that, when you have business owners and corporations, what do they do when they come to an area? They look at population, they look at rooftops, they look at density, because they're looking at how many customers can I run through my door every day. So it becomes a balance of what the community is asking for. I run through this in my district. So, you know, my residents say they want upscale restaurants. They want more restaurants. They want this. They want that. But they don't want any density. They don't want any density. I don't want anybody else moving Henry County. I'm just saying, but yeah. So we have to have a balance. So it's the residents, and I don't need to cut y'all, but it's the residents saying, what is our balance? How do we want this? And if we want that, it does come with some things because there's no incentive for a Kroger or Publix to come up here if they don't get enough people to come through the door to keep their store open. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think that, okay, we look over there at J.P. Mosley, and you're building 300 homes over there. So you're getting the density. We don't have to have apartments flooding our county to build the density. Like, we can have smart growth. And that's the thing that we're asking for, smart growth, because the age and the population of your constituents, especially in this Fairview community, you know, these are the people sustaining the county. So you can bring all the apartments and things like that you want. If those people don't stay, they're transient. If they don't stay, it's not going to sustain the county, because we know what happens with apartments. If people can't afford them, they move on. And then they become, you have to do something to bring those people in. So then you need to give housing stipends. So then that becomes another, something else that happens.
I'm not disagreeing with you, it's just that
Yeah,
when you do it that way, which is actually what I prefer, when you do it a slower growth, it does take longer. It does take longer. You're gonna see within the next 6 months to a year, you're gonna see a proliferation of new restaurants and some more upscale restaurants being announced, Bridges of Jericho, some other places like that. On the north end of the county, and you just look at it, just demographic, you just go to the census and look at it, we don't have the rooftops on the north end of the county that make it very attractive for business. So what we've been trying to do from a county level, so we've even got our development authority to paint this narrative for us, is to actually include surrounding areas, not just what they typically look at in just one area, but say if you build something on Fairview Road, you're not only gonna pull Ellenwood, but you're gonna pull some Clayton residents, you're gonna pull some DeKalb residents, and right over the cab line, we have $500,000 to $1 million homes. So you have to look at a wider, and that's what we're trying to convince the corporations right now, is look at a wider net and pull in an AMI of the area, not just this one particular, that's what we're trying to convince. So, and like I said, Commissioner Rouse and I have had that conversation, and she's talked to those of the county saying, how do we get people to redevelop the areas, what we call the blighted areas. People have been operating 40, 50 years, and they haven't updated their stores. Okay, that's what we're trying to get. So we need people to invest. We need people to invest money. And one of the things we're doing, I think we're going to do with City Stock Grid, is a tax allocation district. And so what that is having the businesses, basically they're agreeing to tax themselves at a higher rate. And when they do that, they're going to be the ones who actually redevelop themselves and pay for the beautification of the areas in. So we're looking at some areas in the county where we can do that. And so one of the areas we're looking at is the East Atlanta and the Fairview. So we are looking at that. It does take time. Like I said, because my preference is I don't like to go for the high density. I'm like, I'm okay with slow growth. That's just me. Everybody doesn't feel the same way I do. That's okay. But I like a little slower growth where we control how it comes. To the gentleman's point about the roads, we control our traffic a little bit, or we let our traffic infrastructure catch up. Because right now we have about over $750 million in traffic improvements already approved and funded. Right now there's so many of them in buying right away. It just takes time. And my thing is, let us kind of get that stuff caught up, and then we can focus more on growth. That was a long-winded answer to your question, but
Okay, next we have Phyllis Oliver.
My question has been answered, but I do have another one. The commissioner mentioned something about a survey, if we wanted to let the SPLOST committee know how we, what we wanted to happen. So I'm not sure you have to get to that survey though, what that consists of.
So you can go to our website, or you can, anything, we got some places where we can give this for you to give us something in writing, or I can give you my card, you can send me an email, and we'll take that in consideration.
Okay, so we'll open the floor up for questions. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to applaud the county. I think you guys are running a strong track record of just your past SPLOST performance, and I just encourage others to strongly consider SPLOST 6. I think it's been good to the north side of the county with just a number of our facilities, including the educational SPLOST that we certainly see. Myself is plugged. I'm a baseball coach out of Cochran Park. So the mini Cochran Park that was rebuilt is actually the old Banks Road football facility that my kid used to play in. So I applaud you guys for fixing that. But at the other Cochran Park, where the baseball fields are, we serve the whole.
I got you. We're going to do some improvements over there outside of the SPLOST. We're going to be using some different funds that we received to laser grade some of those fields over there. And some of those are going to be done before the spring, this spring season. So, yeah.
And then my number one project though is the intersection of Planola and Flexman. Oh my God. Yeah, I think if you pull traffic records or accident records there, that may data, and I'm a data person, that might lead us closer to the top. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I have one.
Go ahead.
I like the comments that were made about the parks and recreation, and I also heard this gentleman's remarks in regards to the golf course. Can anyone tell me if with some of the new changes that will be done, will there be any miniature golf courses in any of the parks or anything?
There hasn't been any discussion on that, but I'll take that recommendation and bring it to the committee and the consultants for our comprehensive parks master plan, and we can definitely take that into consideration. But miniature golf has not been in the discussion. I haven't heard anyone mention miniature golf.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Place, Mayor.
It's actually on there.
Someone in the
I
back.
have to drive on into some of the other counties to play sometimes.
Okay, that's a great recommendation. I got that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Someone in the back had their hand raised. Go ahead.
When, do you have a time frame on buying the right-of-ways on Fairview Road?
So we're looking at this, hopefully this spring to start on probably both of them, most likely on both of them. So what we'll do, we'll send letters out to the property owners along the road and letting them know when are we gonna start, because we'll have to stake out the right of way. So you'll see that letter coming out. And when you see that letter, within a month or so, we're gonna start acquiring the right of way.
Okay, if the property in question is owned by someone who lives somewhere else, I mean, I own rental property, I live, so will I get the letter or
It
my
goes,
tenant?
it goes to the owner. So if you're the owner,
Okay,
when we do the search, it shows who the owner is, and it'll go to the address of the owner. So if you don't live in Fairview, it'll go to where you live.
okay, thank you.
Your tax mailing address?
Correct.
I have a question regarding golf courses again, and because I don't play pickleball either. I don't rollerblade either, but I do play golf. And you already had a golf course at Cotton Fields, so you close that, and you're talking about opening one in Nash Farm. Some of that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you close a golf course you already have? And think about moving it somewhere else. It just seems like that's not, I mean, I don't know. That's not money well spent.
You got it? I'll tell you the story behind it. So, Cottonfields Golf Course was bought by the county over 20 years ago.
Right.
But it was bought, there was never an intention to keep the golf course. It was bought for county expansion of the buildings. So they just happened, because we went through a whole lot of commissioners and 13 county managers in 13 years. And so it just kind of got put on the back burner, but the intention was to close the golf course within the first couple of years of buying it. So it never was supposed to stay open this long in the first place. So it ended up, so then they started sinking money. And let me say, when they first bought the golf course, they bought it, they spent $22 million for the golf course, and I think it was appraised at $3 million.
Right.
And they paid $22 million.
Right.
So,
which is pretty stupid, but anyway.
I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not even gonna get into that. But
Made somebody rich now. Real rich.
Yeah, I'll leave that part alone.
And he's opened up 3 other courses since then. So anyway, go ahead.
There you go. So you know that part of the issue.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't intended. So here's the issue now. So now we have a lot of, we need a courthouse. We need a new training facility. A lot of things that we needed to have built. So if we had decided to keep the golf course open, what does that mean for us? That means we have to go out and buy land to now build these buildings. So as a cost-effective measure.
Or not build it.
I'm sorry?
Or not build the buildings, it's just, I mean.
No, we are.
Our administrative building, they've already started the building.
We're starting. We already programmed the aquatic center. We have some more buildings coming. The courthouse is gonna be right across the street. No, it is actually about to serve its purpose, but if we had not close the golf course, we would have to go out and purchase land at today's prices. So we probably would spend about $20–25 million just to buy land to now build these places. And so, and our county buildings have to be within a certain radius of the county seat. The county seat. So they, they had to be in a certain area. Because somebody's like, why don't you just build the county buildings in Nash Farm? They can't go there. They can't go there. They had to go within a radius. And they had, well, we actually purchased the property. That's why we purchased the property, for the county expansion. So I know in some people's mind, like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but in my mind is, I don't like to do something without having a solution for it. So our solution was, yes, we are taking a public, recreational facility from the residents, but we're gonna replace it. So that is the mindset behind, like, we had to build the buildings, but we didn't want to just take the golf course away and not even address it anymore. Like, yeah, so we have people that use the golf course, and it was popular, but we want to build another one so that we can have this same recreation, provide the same level of service we used to have, and not be reckless and spend more money than we had to build the buildings that it was intended for in the first place.
And one of the most critical pieces of infrastructure that we're putting on that golf course is our new 911 emergency operations center. The facility that we are in right now is not holding up with the growth of the county. The number of dispatchers that we need just to answer 911 calls has exponentially grown. So that's one of the buildings that we're starting on first on that property as well, after the aquatic center.
Our current 911 center, it has almost blown away the last 3 high windstorms we had. It is on its last leg, like its last leg. And so there's an immediate need that we have to build. We already have land that it was intended for to build it, and that's why we made those decisions.
JP, are you going to buy more land to move the senior center from where it's at to another location?
We're actually looking, so the property, Hidden Valley Park is a huge park. I know the developed part of the park doesn't look as big as the actual property.
The land around it is huge.
So we're looking to see if we are able to utilize some of that land that we are currently have.
Instead of going and buying more. So we could actually keep the senior center open, build a new one, and
That's the whole goal. We don't want to shut it down for 2 years while they're building another one. We want to keep it open, and then once it's open, then that's our plan, if we can
we
make
would
it.
want you to move it somewhere that's not as centrally located to North Henry. And it is very centrally located.
Yes,
for
ma'am.
North
That's our
Henry.
first priority, and our first thought was to figure out how we can make it work in that area. So.
Next question?
It's not a question, but it's a comment, and thank you so much. And it's actually directed to you, Mr. JP.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I am very excited to hear about the aquatic center, because for the past 10 years, I've taken my resources to other counties. I love water aerobics. And so I'm excited to hear that we're having something that's gonna come to our area, because in 13 days, I am in town. And my resources where I live. And also, I love riding my bike. And so we need safe trails that we can ride our bikes. So if you can do that, you might keep me here.
That's what we want to do, so we're going to work on it.
All right.
Any more questions? Comments? Okay, we will now move to an approval of minutes from our January 23rd meeting. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve and Fields.
Take a second.
Second, Rodney Lemons.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And we have some future meetings coming up, SPLOST 6 meetings. February 27th, we'll be at District 3 Heritage Senior Center. March 12th, we will be at District 4 J.P. Mosley Recreational Center. And do we have any comments from the committee?
Yeah, I have one. I want to commend the residents for this district, that you showed up, you engaged. It definitely helped us because we can now see your emotions wrapped into decisions we have to make. I'd also like to know, who's the person that's responsible for the center that's here today?
Mr. Bailey.
Is there any way, Mr. John, we can get a United States flag so we can do the pledge of allegiance?
We'll get one in.
Thank you. I'd like to see that happen. And also, I'm a golfer too, so I'm glad to see another golf course coming. That's my comment.
And I'm the committee representative for District 2, so I am really thrilled to see the number of people that are here. You know, this is our second meeting, but this is by far the biggest crowd we've had so far. I know some of the issues. I'm thankful to see so many of my neighbors. But thank you for coming out. And one thing I'll add is that Neve Robinson has committed to having town hall meetings. We had the first one in January. A lot of the questions that you were asking about, you know, the narrowing of the roads and slowing the traffic down, a lot of those people that could answer those questions were at that meeting. So the next town hall meeting is going to be in the second quarter. I want to say it's in May sometime, but be on the lookout. Be on the lookout, and let's show up and get those questions to the appropriate people. Thank you.
I got a question maybe for Rocky. I know I've heard a lot of people talking about the Flakes Mill and all the road intersection. I used to live in this area too, so I'm very familiar with that. What is the design of it? Has it been designed as far as what the change would be, or?
No design has been done at this time, but that's definitely a very good intersection that needs to be improved.
Yeah.
And SPLOST 6 would be a great funding source for it.
Okay. Okay, well, if there's nothing further, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everyone, for showing up.